Hey guys, welcome to the first video of my Linux server tutorials. This video will show you how to basically set up a base installation of Ubuntu Server 16.04 in a virtual machine in VirtualBox. The whole process is pretty simple. It's not too complicated, and it's pretty straightforward. This is just the basic installation. This is going to be a base install with nothing but SSH as service available, so you can log in remotely. This is for building on top of. This is for the future videos. You should use this to start with, or some of the videos you're going to have to use the previous, because there's going to be different parts, so you're going to have to use the VirtualBox from part 1, not part 2. This is going to be basically the building blocks for a server. There is no real security done here other than setting the root password. This is just literally the basic installation of Ubuntu Server. So let's get started here. The first thing we're going to do is select New, and we are going to select Linux, Ubuntu 64-bit, and we're going to give our virtual machine a name. I'm going to call mine Ubuntu Server Base. Also, here I'm going to put the number here of the version. So then we hit next. Here we are, memory size. I am going to just do 1024 for now. You can increase this later. You don't have to increase it. 1024 should be plenty just to learn. If you're actually going to try to use this on your home network or in some sort of environment where you're going to use it often, or have more applications, more services on it, you may want to up that a little bit. Next, we're going to create a virtual hard disk. I'm going to use a VHD virtual hard disk. This way we can set it to be 2 terabytes, but the virtual hard disk will not actually be 2 terabytes. It will only be as big as what's in it. So if you have 2 terabytes but you're only using 8 gigabytes, then the hard disk size will only be 8 gigabytes. But it gives you basically the option to keep adding stuff up to 2 terabytes and make it that large. I keep it like that just so that I don't have to worry about changing the size. We're going to dynamically allocate, and it says 8 gigabytes here. We are going to bring it up to 2 terabytes, just like I said before. And so there's our basic setup here. We're going to tweak just a couple of things under settings here. So what we're going to do here is, first things first, remove floppy option. We're not going to be using a floppy. You can also change your processors here, depending on how many cores your processor has. You can add a little more power. I'm not going to, just because this is a base, and I'm not going to be doing anything important with it. Display. I'm not really going to change any of that stuff. Storage, we need to add our image here. Audio, I disable the audio. Network, this is important here. We're going to add a bridged adapter. We're going to bridge it to our net. Make sure you select your network card here. Under advanced, we don't really need to worry about this. This is set for us. There are some things you can change here if you want to, but we're not going to do that now. Serial ports, USB, shared folders, user interface. So we're just going to allow that, and we're going to start the installation. I'm going to select English, install Ubuntu Server. English, select your location, United States. Detect a keyboard layout, I usually select no. I select English US, because that is what my keyboard is. Now it's going to detect the hardware and set up the network. So here we have host name. For me, I have been, basically this is what you want to call your server. I've been using a scheme of the planets. So my router is Mercury, this will be Venus. Full name for our new user, local administrator. Our name for our account is local admin local. Password, just a simple password here. I'm just going to use. You don't want to use the same thing. I'm just using something simple because I'm going to offer this virtual machine as a download at some point. And we verify our password here. Encrypt your home directory. I'm not going to. You may want to. The reason I'm not going to is because, like I said, I'm going to share this with other people. And our time zone. And here we are partitioning. We're just going to use the entire disk and set up LVM. This will create logical volumes. You don't have to use logical volumes. I prefer to do it because you can do a few different things with them, especially with the encrypted ones. When I set up an actual server, I usually use encrypted. Write changes to the logical volume manager. So first, what it does is it partitions the disk. First thing it has to do is create one partition. It's going to mess with the partition tables. So yes. Then now it's going to ask us about the partition table. We're going to use the whole volume group for guided partitioning here for LVM. So now it's going to create our logical volumes. And here, as you can see, our new volumes here are the LVM VG Venus VG, which is virtual group. I'm going to write changes to disk. So we are using the volume group Venus. Basically what it does is it creates a group when it creates your partitions. It's not so much important right this second, but it can be in the future if you need to resize or change something. So here we're going to pause here for now until we get to the next screen. So here we have the HTTP proxy is asking us for. We don't have one of those. I assume you probably do not have one either. So we just continue here. We leave it blank. And now it's going to configure apt and download some files here. And then next we should be shown the task selection screen. That will give us basically a list of different packages we can install for different services. So we're going to select, before we get in here, we're going to select our updates. I always select no automatic updates, and I manage the system myself. Installing security updates automatically, it can work, but it may break things, so I always do this on my own. So here we are at the software selection screen. We're only going to make sure that the default is selected here, the standard system utilities and the open SSH server. Those are the only two things that we need at this moment. So here basically what it's going to do is it's going to retrieve files and install them and finish up the installation here. And then it's going to ask us where to put the bootloader. I'll come back when that is on the screen. Okay, so here we are with the installed grub bootloader on a hard disk. Basically, this is going to install the bootloader, that menu you get when you start your computer here. It's going to give you different options: Ubuntu Server, Memtest, rescue mode. So that's what we want to do. We're going to write the bootloader to the master boot record. And as you can see, updating grub, it wrote it to SDA, which is our main, that's our hard drive. And here, installation is complete, and we click continue, and we will restart here. So there we are, terminating. Okay, here we are restarting. And there is grub. And it will automatically select Ubuntu for you and load up the operating system. So first things first with this operating system, we need to log in, obviously. So we log in with the username and password that we set up in the installation. So there's mine, and we're in for the first time. So we can pretty much do anything. This is where we need to start configuring the server itself. The best route to go with this is basically we're going to start by doing any updates that the installation may have missed. So we do sudo apt-get update, which will update our package list. So there, checked our sources there. Okay, so now we do upgrade. Sudo apt-get upgrade will update our packages themselves. The first one was just updating the list of available packages, and then this one will update the packages themselves, if there are any. Yep, so here we have some. There's just a few, and of course this is a beta version of 16.04, so it's a daily build, so obviously there's going to always be updates for these. So we're going to update this for now. So here what it does is it's downloading these packages and installing them, unpacking and installing, and then processing. Okay, so there we have our first updates done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the root password, just because if we don't set the root password, somebody with administrative access is going to set the root password. We aren't going to use the root account for anything. I do not log in with a root account, period. I just use sudo for everything. But we need to set the password for root so that no one else can. If someone else sets it, they will have root access. You will not. So sudo passwd password root. This will allow us to change the password here. Okay. So it says enter new Unix password. So we're going to put in a tough Unix password. Something not so simple, something a little complex, something that you may remember, you may forget. It doesn't really matter if you forget this, just as long as you're the only one that knows what that password is, because originally it does not come with a password on it, and that's all you have to do if you have sudo access to change the password for root. As you can see, that could fall into the wrong hands very easily, so that is why I do that, because you're giving out so you give your friend, your buddy, an account on here so he can log in remotely to check your Minecraft server or whatever, and you give him sudo privileges just because he needs them for one thing or another. Well, he could take over the entire thing or log in as root and just pretty much destroy everything, or not destroy anything. You never know. So that's basically it for now. That is the first video. And we're going to leave this open here for a second. I'm also going to show you how to log in with PuTTY. PuTTY is a little tool here. And basically it allows you to log in via SSH. So first thing we're going to do, well, we need our IP address because we haven't set that as a static IP address yet. So first thing we need is our IP address. So we do ifconfig, which will show us our IP address, and up here enp0s3, that is my Ethernet adapter. As you can see, my link encapsulation Ethernet hardware address is your MAC address. iNet address, that's your IP address. So we are 192.168.1.118. So let's go here. 192.168.1.11. Well, let's see. Number lock. 192.168.1. Was it 18 or 19? Now I can't remember. 18. Nope. Okay. 118. Port 22. It's gonna ask us about our fingerprint key here. It's gonna tell you what the RSA2 key fingerprint is for this server. You don't really need to worry about that right now. In the future, we can change some things around about that. Log in as my admin local, and our password we used during the installation. So there are 23 packages can be updated, 0 updates are security updates, as you can see right here. I really don't think that those packages can be updated because I think we already did. We're just waiting on a restart. So we're logged in remotely. You can do this from anywhere on your network at the moment. It's a real pain opening this up to outside. We would have to change the port number one, because if you open port 22, you get so many requests over and over and over again. It really slows your home internet down very, very bad. So I usually use an obscure port number. We'll get more into that when we do that. But we can set up SSH for multiple things. We can make it so that only people with keys can log in. We can make it have a banner, so it shows you a banner before you log in or after you log in. As you can see this right here, welcome to Ubuntu Xenial Xeris. You can change this to anything. There's all kinds of different things you can do with that. You can also, when you say log in as admin local, before you get the password, it will actually show you a banner pretty much it'll say you can put whatever you want in there, ASCII characters, whatever. I actually have a small example here on my home server. Hopefully it'll allow me in here. It will not allow me in here because we are on a different subnet at the moment. But basically, you can do banners, you can do different things, and we'll get into that more in later videos. But for now, we're pretty much finished. We've logged in via SSH, and we've got these first updates done. Next video, we will be working on the networking. We will be working on the networking, setting up our network, configuring our host name, making sure that we have a fully qualified domain address, which you don't actually need a domain name. This is as long as it's on your network only. And we will also set up UFW, which is a pretty simple firewall. Pretty much blocks everything until you add ports. And that'll be our next video. So thanks for watching.